Hey, what's going on, YouTube? What is going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in here today, man. Today, we've got a request from one of my Patreon members. Going to be checking this one out. Thank you so much for becoming a Patreon member. Really appreciate that. This one is Bob Dylan, Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this one. I haven't heard this one before. This is definitely a longer one from Mr. Bob Dylan right here. 8 minutes, 52 seconds. And, man, I love Bob Dylan. Definitely top three of my favorite people to react to. I'm a heavy lyrical guy, and I like when there's a lot to dissect. And even if I don't quite get it all the time, that's what I'm here for, man. I've always, since a young age, I've always appreciated people who had a way with words. And sometimes that actually holds its head a little higher than the music to me, because the lyrics just mean so much to me. Our words mean so much to me. It's a little bit higher, but I love as well with music that you can express so much emotion through an instrument, and that is just creative. And so in my head, I'm like arguing right now about which one I think is higher, but I've just always been a very heavy lyrical guy. So that's just part of it. Let's go ahead and jump into this one. Bob Dylan, Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. Here we go. That bass line sounds like I don't know, like country, backwoods type stuff.
The festival was over and the boys were all planning for a ball. The cabaret was quiet, except for the drilling in the wall. The curfew had been lifted and the gambling wheel shut down. Anyone with any sense had already left town. He was standing in the doorway, looking like the Jack of Hearts. He moved across the mirrored room, set it up for everyone, he said. Then everyone commenced to do what they were doing before he turned their heads. Then he walked up to a stranger and he asked him with a grin, "Could you kindly tell me, friend, what time the show begins?" Then he moved into the corner, face down like the Jack of Hearts. Backstage the girls were playing, five cards stood by the stairs. Lily had two queens, she was hoping for a third to match her pair. Outside the streets were filling up, the window was open wide. A gentle breeze was blowing, you could feel it from inside. Lily called another bet and drew up the Jack of Hearts. Big Jim was no one's fool, he owned the town's only diamond mine.
A lot of sweet references here.
He made his usual entrance, looking so dandy and so fine. With his bodyguards and silver cane in every harrying place, he took whatever he wanted to and he laid it all to waste. But his bodyguards and silver cane were no match for the Jack of Hearts.
Okay, a lot of gambling references, sweets, but a story being told.
Rosemary combed her hair and took a carriage into town. She slipped into the side door, looking like a queen without a crown. She fluttered her false eyelashes and whispered in his ear, "Sorry, darling, that I'm late," but he didn't seem to hear. He was staring into space over at the Jack of Hearts. I know I've seen that face somewhere, Big Jim was thinking to himself. Maybe down in Mexico, or a picture upon somebody's shelf. But then the crowd began to stamp their feet and the house lights did dim. And in the darkness of the room there was only Jim and him. staring at the butterfly who just drew the Jack of Hearts. Lily was a princess, she was fair-skinned and precious as a child. She did whatever she had to do, she had that sudden flash every time she smiled. She had come away from a broken home and lots of strange affairs, with men in every walk of life which took her everywhere. But she never met anyone quite like the Jack of Hearts.
Jack of Hearts is that guy, man. He's that dude.
The hanging judge came in unnoticed and was being wined and dined.
Hanging judge.
The drilling in the wall kept up, but no one seemed to pay it any mind. It was known all around that Lily had Jim's ring, and nothing would ever come between Lily and the king. No, nothing ever would, except maybe the Jack of Hearts. Rosemary started drinking hard and seeing her reflection in the knife. She was tired of the attention, tired of playing the role of Big Jim's wife. She had done a lot of bad things, even once tried suicide. Was looking to do just one good deed before she died. She was gazing to the future, riding on the Jack of Hearts. Lily took her dress off, buried it away. As your luck run out, she laughed at him. Well, I guess you must have known it would someday. Be careful not to touch the wall as a brand new coat of paint. I'm glad to see you're still alive, you looking like a saint. Down the hallway, footsteps were coming for the Jack of Hearts.
So it sounds like the Jack of Hearts is locked up or something, though.
The backstage manager was pacing all around by his chair. There's something funny going on, he said, I can just feel it in the air. He went to get the hanging judge, but the hanging judge was drunk. As the leading actor hurried by in the costume of a monk, there was no actor anywhere better than the Jack of Hearts. No one knew the circumstance, but they say that it happened pretty quick. The door to the dressing room burst open and a cold revolver clicked. And Big Jim was standing there, you couldn't say surprised. Rosemary right beside him, studying her eyes. She was with Big Jim, but she was leaning to the Jack of Hearts.
Sounds like both the girls in the store are falling for the Jack.
2 doors down, the boys finally made it through the wall.
So he made it through the wall. That's like criminal
and
kind of
cleaned
stuff.
out the bank safe. It said they got off with quite a haul.
Oh.
In the darkness by the riverbed, they waited on the ground for one more member who had business back in town.
It was a
But
heist.
they couldn't go no further without the Jack of Hearts.
It was a heist.
The next day was hanging day. The sky was overcast and black. Big Jim lay covered up, killed by a penknife in the back.
Rosemary got him.
And Rosemary on the gallows, she didn't even blink. The hanging judge was sober, he hadn't had a drink. The only person on the scene missing was the Jack of Hearts. The cabaret was empty now, a sign said closed for repair. Lily had already taken all of the dye out of her hair.
She's gonna bail with Jack, right?
She was thinking about her father who she very rarely saw. Thinking about Rosemary and thinking about the law. But most of all, she was thinking about the Jack of Hearts.
That was so cool. Hey man, some primetime storytelling by Bob Dylan here. Took me a little bit to quite understand what was going on. Now I knew that the suites were representing these different people. I guess at the end there, I'm gonna do a deeper dive, but at the end there, it sounds like okay. So Lily was, I guess, the daughter. I thought she was with the king, but maybe the daughter of the king. Rosemary ended up taking out. She was represented by the queen. She ended up taking out the diamond, right? And the Jack of Hearts sounds like the ringleader of some bandits, and that they had made a heist and got away, and Lily ends up bailing to be with him. So, but let me see the overall story, because for a little bit I was like, when they kept talking about trying to drill through the wall, I was like, wait, is this like a prison break? But no, it was actually a heist in place, I guess. All right, so this is the story on the surface is what this takes it as. It says, I went and read through the lyrics, and I want to look up other people's meaning as well. It says on the surface, the interpretation on a surface interpretation, the song seems to involve four main characters: Lily, Rosemary, Jack of Hearts, and Big Jim. Lily and Rosemary are in a relationship with Big Jim, although it's left unclear which, if either, is his wife. At the same time, both are attracted to a mysterious character called the Jack of Hearts, who seems to be associated with the gang of bank robbers. Rosemary murders Big Jim, and for this she is hanged at the instigation of a corrupt judge. And then to me, it also sounded like Lily was going to be running off with Jack there. So that's kind of where I got the story and what I got of the story. So here we go. It says that the song was released in 1975. This is folk rock, country, blues. Maybe that's the kind of bass line I heard. Maybe that falls into the country blues. And down here we got the an extra verse. There's an extra verse on the Bob Dylan website and in the published sheet music that is not in the album version. So this, right after the backstage manager verse, it says, Lily's arms were locked around the man that she dearly loved to touch. She forgot all about the man she couldn't stand who hounded her so much. That's Jim, I assume. I've missed you so, she said to him, and he felt she was sincere. But just beyond the door, he felt jealousy and fear. Just another night in the life of Jack of Hearts. In the life of Jack of Hearts. So to me, that sounds like maybe he has a lot of women. Maybe this situation isn't all too new to him. He has women who swoon over the bandit, the rebel that he is, and it usually ends in jealousy and fear as they realize his stature and that there are many others chasing him. So as much as this is a breakaway story for Lily and a fairy tale ending, that extra verse almost makes me think that she will be wind up being a woman who goes crazy for this guy, and he's a guy that can't be tied down. He's out on the roads committing bandit acts, and she's just going to be another one in his book of females who he's left scorned and in the dust. So I don't know, that's kind of the way that ending painted it for me. I would have a totally like fairy tale ending without the extra verse, that maybe Lily met Jack and they went off and lived happily ever after. But with that extra verse, I don't know, it paints a whole different ending for me. So let me know. Just like there's some movies that have alternate endings, okay? There's one, I think it's called I Am Legend with Will Smith. There's a definitive theatrical ending, but if you've got like the director's cut, they actually recorded a whole separate ending that makes the story totally different, and that's kind of what that extra verse did for me there. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in here today. Hopefully you enjoyed the reaction. Thank you so much for the request and being a part of my Patreon. I really appreciate that as well. Obviously, I love Bob Dylan. Gonna always be returning. As long as this channel stands on legs, I will be returning to Bob Dylan. Just know that. So I love Bob Dylan's music so much. Thank you guys for being here. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget like, subscribe. Check out the descriptions down below for other ways you could help the channel. With that being said, I'm gone, and I'll see you on the next one, okay? Peace.